Hey, it's Dr. Renil Paula, and today we're going to talk about your cervical traction unit exercise and the setup of it. So in your home care kit, you have your traction unit and you have the spacer as well. I'll show you first how to set up the spacer, and then I'll show you how to tie the knot with this, and then we'll show you how to do the exercise and the different variations of it. This is single-handedly probably the most important exercise in your whole entire prescription sheet. This is an exercise that can be done routinely. In fact, I would recommend people do this daily for the rest of their life. So the way you brush your teeth, I would probably have you guys do this traction unit, because not only does this help restore the curve inside the neck, it helps pump those discs to help slow down the degenerative process, and it helps break up that scar tissue in there. And we want to make sure we keep that arc of life in there. So the blocking or the block allows us to give space between the door. So it replicates what we have here in our office, which is the rope coming straight down rather than coming at an angle off the door. You're gonna have the block. This piece goes on one side of the door and the block's gonna be on the outside. We do recommend doing it on a door that's not opening towards you, but is actually closing towards you, just in case the one chance probability that this slips out. You don't want the door falling out, or you don't also want the door coming out towards you. You want it on the outside of the door if your house allows you to do it. So this part, very important. On the other side of the door, you want to make sure that this is flush and flat on the other side of the door, and you don't want it at an angle because we don't want it to come through the hinges as well. And the last tip is that you want to make sure this block is as close to the hinges as possible. It gives it more support. So as we set this up, bring it over here, awesome, and good, it's nice and sturdy. So you have this little loop over here, and this is where you're going to tie the rope to. Now, there is not one way to tie this knot. So if you are a ropes expert or you know a lot about knots, feel free to tie your favorite knot. The more important thing is that where it is set up. So the traction unit should be right at about your chin level, and then I'll show you a little tip as you kind of tie it for the first time. It does loosen a little bit, so you might want it a little bit higher. So you will first start by looping the traction unit through, get it right about to your chin level, and then bring it just slightly above. And then you're going to bring the rope right through there. Okay, so as we have this guy at the chin level, I'm gonna bring it a little bit above, and we're gonna have our finger right over here, and all you're gonna do is you're gonna loop this around your finger, and then you're just gonna pull your fingers out and bring this other end of the rope straight through and pull it tight. It's super simple. Get that nice and secure, get that nice and secure, and that is good and tight on there. So extra rope, you can go ahead and just pull it out of the way. Now, you're gonna notice there are different spacings on your traction unit. Follow whatever your prescription sheet says. So this would be our pads apart, is gonna be these two little donuts apart from each other. If your prescription sheet says pads together, these two sheets or donuts will be together like that, and then the comfort position is just gonna be in between halfway, like that. So we're gonna go ahead and do pads apart on this one. And this part of the traction unit goes behind the neck. This part goes underneath the chin. We'll talk about at the end if you have any type of jaw issues, a modification for this. So you bring that right behind your head, and then this guy comes underneath your chin. And the goal is just to go straight down, but you'll notice probably a little bit's gonna singe out. Great, and now you wanna go ahead and just pump the disc in your spine, in your neck, and you want it to be a ballistic motion where you just go up and down like that. You don't want to be going at an angle away, so you don't want to be too far out like that. You don't want to have your knees buckling in and going too far towards the door. You just want it to be nice and smooth, going straight down. And you're going to do it for the prescribed number of repetitions on your sheet. Just like all your other exercises, work your way up to it if you need to. This one's pretty simple. Most people will be able to do it at the recommendation, but if you do have a lot of soreness or tightness or tenderness in there, feel free to do as many as you can before that kicks in, and then eventually work your way up to the recommended amount. Now, we usually recommend doing this twice a day during your correction, and then continuing to do that daily through your maintenance as well. There's no upper limit to this as well, so you can do this multiple times a day. If you work at a computer all day long, this is great to do between the day, throughout the day, to just help keep things loose in there. And finally, if you have any jaw issues, the modification is that you put this on your forehead instead of your chin. You will have to squat probably a little bit more. So you can also bring it right on the forehead right there. Awesome. And last tip I do want to add in there, it's okay to have it a little lower than your chin. It just means you're gonna have to squat a little bit more. What you want to look out for and avoid though, you don't want this to be higher than your chin when this is secure, because then you're going to be almost at an angle like this while it's up. So if you put it on and your neck's already up like this, you're not going to be getting a lot of that pump. So when you are having this on, you want to make sure your head can at least be neutral, because you want that full range of motion. So this is your cervical unit traction exercise.